Hey everybody, today's video is going to be a little bit lengthy and pretty in-depth, but it's also going to be 100% focused on how you can capitalize and make as much gold as possible in New World. Now, I'm not talking about, oh, go farm these different nodes at XYZ location and make a few thousand gold here and there, like many of the other guys out here. I'm talking about the big money. I'm talking about, hey, you've probably got like 50 to 100K in your pocket right now. How can you use that to turn that into hundreds of thousands, if not millions of gold in New World? So I'm going to do this in a range of different ways. You can think of it in four different categories. The first one is going to be focused on easy flips. And again, the more you have to work with, the more you're going to make with these flips. The second section is going to be focused on crafting potential and whether or not it's worth crafting, and if so, what exactly to craft. The third is going to be focused on how you can actually get BiS items without the need of crafting, primarily through M10s and things along those lines. And then last but not least, I'm going to talk about what you're going to do with these items and how to determine if you have a BIS item or not, and how you can actually sell that, because many times it just sits in our inventory and we don't know what to do. So let's jump right in, go through each of these steps and start making some gold. Let's get started by talking about easy flips on the trade house. And we're going to start with the big three: Asmo, Runic Leather, and Glittering Ebony. If I ever see Asmo for under 260 gold, I start to stock up. The more you spend, the more you'll make down the road when you flip these. But again, anything under 260 gold with Asmodium, you can stock up. And, prime time is usually on weekends or right before or after big patches hit regarding new weapons or new crafting updates, because everyone's going to want to start crafting. So I always, at the beginning of each day and the end of each day, take a look at my buy orders for these big three, set them up to pick up some easy ones over time. And, after a few weeks of this, you're going to have huge piles, which you can flip to make huge income. And again, that's Asmo, Runic Leather, and Glittering Ebony. But other than that, there are two craft mods that people tend to really craft a lot of, and that's Drop of Ironwood Sab, which is thwarting strikes. People are going to use this when crafting great axes and great swords specifically. The margin for those can be huge. We're buying them like 4.5K. I've seen them go upwards of 8K. And then Squirming Vines, of course. Everyone loves Squirming Vines. It's shirking fortification. I've seen those reach 10 to 11K sometimes on weekends. Now, this next section is a interesting one, and that's regarding 600 gear score scrolls. I'm talking about like these Spriggan Bane breastplates, these Mossborn breastplates, and the Raider. I specifically go for the heavy chest because people tend to kind of go big with those items more specifically. So I put buy orders up, even for like 1 week or 2 weeks at a time for 1K gold, and I actually tend to pick up a handful of them, throw them in global chat, and people will buy them between 5 and 10K each. Easy money. And of course, we can't forget about those attribute specific craft mods. I'm talking about those iron battle metals, which are strength specific. I'll pick those up for between like 30 and 34 gold each through buy orders. And then, of course, the big one, which is Constitution with the Iron Guardsman insignias. Surprisingly, on my server, I can pick those up for under 30 gold each. So I'm stockpiling those because, again, on weekends and before those huge crafting patches, I can flip these for very, very easy money. Lastly, one of the big things I check out are some of the big items that are currently posted in the trade house, because sometimes people list really valuable items for really cheap. So specifically, I take a look at three perkers such as Resilient, Shirking Fortification, and Refreshing Ward, and see if any of these are easy flips, because if these are heavy con items, many times they'll go for several hundred thousands of gold. They're very, very sought after by a lot of those war ready and those big companies throughout New World and across different servers. So I take a look and see if there's any easy flips here. Also, sometimes I'll drop that refreshing ward and pick up freedom, because that's a very, very common build across the board. And I'll just scan all the different listed items to see if there's anything listed low. And you'll be surprised to actually, pick up some really cheap items this way and just flip them to make easy several, tens of thousands of gold here and there, sometimes hundreds of thousands of gold depending on the item. We are done talking about trade house and easy flips that way. Now let's talk about different ways you can actually naturally get some of these really sought after items rather than just buying them. And I'm talking about M10s. A lot of people hate when I say, oh, just grind out M10s, but it's easy money. You'll get gold by just completing it, as well as the most important thing, item drops. Sometimes you'll get a bunch of purple items that are two perkers, not really that valuable, but every now and then you'll kind of hit the sweet spot and get some gold items that might actually be really sought after. Now, the trick here is just rinse and repeat. Keep doing these M10s, keep stacking up on these different items, and throw them in your storage. At the end of this video, I'll kind of show you a sneak peek of how you can actually check the value of some of these items, and you'll be surprised because you may not even know, but there could be an item in your storage worth several hundreds of thousands of gold, and you just don't even realize it. I'm going to kind of show you a way of how you can actually get these items sold to different individuals, how you can price check them, and ultimately make the big bucks. Let's say you hate M10s or you just simply can't do them. That's totally fine. If you have some money to work with, you can roll the dice and actually do some crafting. Now, specifically, when I craft, I use rune stopwatches, all of the right gear and everything to hit those 598 to 600 rolls. And I do big rolls. I'm talking about shirking fortification with heavy chests and thwarting strikes with great axes. I'm going to go ahead and just quickly roll 10 of these and show you what I get. And again, sometimes you'll hit big, sometimes you won't. I personally found some huge luck rolling this way. It's pretty expensive, but I always tend to hit something decent. Let's see what we get. That's pretty good right there. I can probably post that and try to sell that for some easy gold. That one's kind of iffy. And right there, that item alone is going to not only, have us break even with all the resources, but also make a huge chunk of money. And I'll kind of use that for an example in this next portion to show you how we actually sell these items and also kind of price check them a bit again. But again, if you don't like doing M10s, that's totally fine. Roll the dice and start doing some rolling. Let's say you finally got your hands on something pretty expensive, whether it's a heavy chest, a great axe, or anything in between. You just want to turn that item into gold. You might want to price check it, or you might just want to sell it as fast as possible. Regardless, this is the resource you want to use. And this is the New World Market Discord. As you can see, there's over 9,000 members in here already. It's growing by the day. Hundreds and hundreds of more are joining each week. But this is your one-stop shop for everything regarding selling or buying BiS items. What's cool is that there's separate channels in this Discord based on your server, as well as a cross-server channel where anyone can post anything just to sell or buy. For example, let's use that heavy chest that I rolled earlier. It was a Resilient Freedom Shirking Fortification heavy chest. What I tend to do is I just kind of scroll around until I find something similar right off the bat. Right here, this is the exact item we rolled earlier. It sold for 900,000 gold. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to get 900,000 gold, but it gives me a pretty good, decent range in regards to what I want to, shoot for. I'll probably settle for between 750 and 900k gold, but again, we'll see what happens. All you have to do is take a screenshot of this item saying willing to sell. I'm on Orofina. Offers, please. Something along those lines. Take a screenshot of the item, post it, and now you just wait. People are going to start blowing up your direct messages with offers or buyout requests. And all you do is sit back, relax, and wait until the offer comes that you want to take. Again, you can do this for practically any item, specifically those best in slot pieces of equipment or weapons. You can use this to price check. This is your answer in regards to transitioning those items that may be stocking up in your storage into gold in your pocket. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to shoot me a like and subscribe. And let me know in the comments if there's any other ways that you tend to find some success with when it comes to gaining tens, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of gold. Thanks again, guys.